Hi, everyone. Welcome back for those of you who have been here with us before, and welcome to our first timers. My name is Christine. I'm here at the Cousin DIY Studios in Largo, Florida. And today we're going to be learning how to use the micro rhinestone crystals. They're a new product that just set a couple weeks ago, I think, actually, and they're really, really cool. So I think you guys are going to really like this. First, we're going to go over all of the color options that there are. I believe there are 11 total options, and they're really, really easy to use. So I'm going to kind of just take this to this camera and I'll scoot this down so you guys all will have a better view. All right. So right here, we have the kind of blue color. It's like a real pretty sapphire color. I don't know if you guys can see it through the packaging, but there's a blue. There's kind of like a jet black color. There's also a hematite color here, which is really pretty. We do have kind of like a rainbow palette, which it's really hard to see. I apologize. We have a amethyst color, which is like a purpley pink. There's just a plain crystal. And then there's also this dark green, which is beautiful. So there's a few other colors. There's this gold hematite mix. So these I actually have open, so I'm going to put some in my hand so you can see them. But they are so tiny and little, but man, do they sparkle. So we have that color mix. And then we have this really pretty silver color, which is what is on our Nike shoes here. There we go. So that's so pretty. There's also a hematite metallic blue mix, which this one's actually my favorite, not gonna lie. So pretty. Then we have your crystal AB color.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
My goodness, Siri, I was not talking to you. And last but not least, there is this cyan color, which is a red. There we go. And then we have this light rose color, which is a light pink. All right. So now that we kind of went over all the colors, I want to kind of just show you a little bit about what we're going to be working on today. So these are the Nike shoes here. These are just a basic blank white style, as you can see here. So this is kind of what it looked like before. And then once we add those micro crystals, this is what you're going to get. And it's so, so cool. And all we're going to be doing is using our glue pin here. So this is the bead landing glue pin, and it comes with the 2 crystal trays. I'm going to show you just a few other options before I start showing you the techniques, just to kind of give you some ideas of what you can do with these. So this is another style tennis shoe we did. These were from Target, and these just had a star here on the side. So I literally just used the star as my kind of stencil, and I just put the glue on it and sprinkled those crystals on it. And then we also did the little stripe here in the back to kind of give it a little bit of extra. And because I'm extra, I always change out shoelaces. And these you can get on Amazon. You can get some really fun ones. So another thing you can do, you can decorate some high heels with them. These we use the red color on, and I just think they look so cute. I might actually wear these tonight to my Christmas party. And then we put a little bow because, you know, again, I'm extra. So a few other options. These are some champagne flutes. Great for New Year's Eve if you're having a little shindig and you want to make something kind of special. This is the Crystal AB. And all we did is just put the glue on. I kind of smudged it around with my finger. and it made this kind of cool, like frosted design. And again, these flutes, you can get these at Michael's, the glues from Michael's and the microcrystals. So we have 2 of them here. So I'm ready for the new year. And then another fun option, which you might have seen already on like TikTok or Pinterest, is bedazzling a little champagne bottle. So you can do this actually in a big champagne bottle if you want. I just did a little mini version. But look how fun this is. Oh my gosh, so cute. This would be like a great like hostess gift if you were going to a party, or I mean, even for like a bachelorette thing. You could do this for, I don't know, a baby shower, not champagne. You could do like Martinelli's, you know, sparkling apple cider. But I just love it. I think it's super fun. Put a little bow on it. I think this would make a great gift that it's going to be one of a kind. No one else is going to have this gift. So, and then a few other things I just want to go over with you before we start. So again, just other options you can do. So this was a little handbag. I'm a big upcycler. I love going to thrift stores and then taking pieces and then upcycling them. And this microcrystal is a great option to do this with. So this was the bag. It was just a plain black little evening bag, but ta-da! Now it's like a super stunning evening clutch that, you know, can be worn pretty much anywhere. So I just love it. I think it's so gorgeous. So that's one other option. And then last but not least, we wanted to show just a little Christmas ornament option. This seriously looks like something that came from Anthropologie. It looks so beautiful. This was just these wood ornaments that you can buy from Michael's. We used some black acrylic paint, and then I smudged some gold rub and buff on it to give it that kind of antique look. And then we just did the same process. So glue first, and then we sprinkled on our crystals, and voila, you have this gorgeous, gorgeous ornament. So again, a great little hostess gift, or if you wanted to make this and, you know, give it to a neighbor or friend. I mean, it's one of a kind. It's so gorgeous. And again, it looks so high end. So
one of our viewers wanted to know, does it come off easy on your hands?
So I will say, especially on like your shoes or anything like that. So anything that's embellished, it's going to come off a little bit eventually. That's just what embellishments do, whether they're on clothes, on purses, on anything really. So you'd be surprised though. I will say I've only had a few come off here and there. Nothing that like you would think though. You're not going to want to run a marathon in these for sure, but you can actually wear these, you know, every day and feel pretty confident that not a lot are going to come off. And if they do come off, like I said, anything that's embellished is eventually going to kind of sprinkle off every now and then, but you'll have extra, so you can always go back and just kind of fix it a little bit. So, all right. So again, this is going to be the same technique for kind of anything that I showed you. This is exactly what I've done for all of these pieces that we just showed you here. So I'm going to take my other little blank shoe here, and I'll show you how I did these as well if you wanted to do something like this. All right, so I'm going to take my glue pen here. This is a great glue pen. If you've taken any of our classes before, I love this glue pen. It's probably my favorite out of all of the glues that I have used. It's a great glue for just all around in general use. It sticks great to fabrics, to wood, to plastic. So, and the cool thing about this is it has this precision tip pinpoint, which really helps, especially when you're using like these little crystals, because sometimes you squeeze too much and then you've got this big glob of glue and you can't really do anything about it. But if this does happen, this glue dries completely clear, which is really, really helpful. So, all right. So first thing you want to do, you want to make sure your shoe is clean first. So if you're just starting this project and this goes for any project. You want to take some isopropyl alcohol and you can just put it on a cotton cloth and you just want to wipe down the surface of your shoe or your glasses, whatever you're putting the crystal on. You want to make sure the surface is clean first. So I've already done that to these. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did this. And again, it's so super easy. And I think you guys are going to be so surprised by how easy that it is to do. So as you can see, I kind of started a little bit already. So I'm just going to continue. And again, I'm using the shoe as my template. So I'm just kind of staying in between the lines here of where the toe is on this shoe. And we're just going to squeeze some glue out. And I don't do a very big area. I like to work in smaller sections so that the glue doesn't get super dry. But then I'm just going to take my finger and I'm just kind of tapping that glue down so that it gets a little bit tacky. And if you don't like using your finger, you could use a little paintbrush to kind of spread it around. I just prefer my fingers. All right, so the fun part. So I usually just take a paper plate like this to catch my crystals on. So put the paper plate under whatever you're working on and then open up your crystals. And what you're going to do is you're just going to sprinkle them just like glitter. So you're just going to sprinkle them on like so. And you can hear them. They're going to fly. So make sure you have a surface underneath you. So as you can see, and then you just kind of dump them out. All right, and there's the ones that stick. And I just go back and I take my thumb and I kind of just press those into the area I'm working on that I want them to stay in. Okay, and then you can take your finger and just kind of tap it. And then that'll kind of get off any of the looser ones that haven't quite stuck down yet. All right, so now I'm going to take my paper plate of crystal and I'm going to dump it back in my container. And I will tell you, so I did one whole shoe. This one whole shoe was one container and I still had leftover crystals, which is what I'm using to continue on this shoe. So, I mean, depending on how big your foot is, you may just need one thing of crystals. You may need two, depending on how much coverage you want. But it's a pretty decent value. Like I said, I did both sides of the swoosh as well as the full toe with just one. And I did get I did get this swoosh done, and then I'm working on the toe of this now with just one. So these shoes probably will take me two jars of the microcrystal. But I mean, for blinged out Nikes, I feel like that's a pretty good deal. All right, so I have a little bit of glue left, so I'm going to just take the rest of these and I'm going to keep sprinkling them on just so I can start opening up my second pack here. And so I'm going to go ahead and open up another pack of my silver here so I can continue on. All right, so gotta put my paper plate back. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit more glue down here on the toe. And literally, this is all I'm doing. I'm just taking my glue, I'm spreading it around, using my finger to kind of tap it down, and then I'm sprinkling my crystals. Keep doing this, and you just do this repetitively until you finish what you want the microcrystals to go on. They really do provide some really cool coverage that you don't really get with a flat back, which I love flat backs, don't get me wrong, but this definitely creates a really cool texture. And I actually feel like it kind of gives it more sparkle.
It makes a satisfying noise.
Yeah, it sure does. All right. Does anybody have any questions? I'm just going to keep continuing on, but it's super easy. Would love to know your feedback and what you think of this process so far.
One of our viewers asked about adding shellac on the top to make it more stick better.
So yes, you absolutely can do that. I will tell you though, it kind of dulls the crystal a little bit when you add like a shellac or like a Mod Podge on top, but that's not to say it doesn't look good. So yes, to answer your question, you totally can add some kind of shellac on top of it to give it some extra support, but just know that it does dull the crystal just a little bit. So I'm continuing sprinkling over my glue here. I mean, just one little bottle, you can see how much coverage you're getting, which I think is the cool thing. And I still have over half of my little container left to go. So I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to continue. I'm going to finish up here.
Oh, we just got a great question.
Sure.
What if you wanted to combine two colors or use multiple colors in a pattern?
Oh my gosh, totally. You could do that very easily. Whatever pattern you wanted, you would just need to either, you know, sketch it out. Because really wherever you're putting the glue is where your crystals are going to go. So if you wanted to do a pattern per se, you would, let's say we wanted to do a stripe pattern, right? So I'm just using this here where I stop the gluing is where the crystals are going to stop, right? So let's say I'm going to put this on here, right? Now, see that clean line? It literally stopped where I don't have glue. So if you wanted to add like a color, another color, like a stripe or something, you would just continue your gluing and then switch up the color. So depending on whatever pattern or design you wanted, and actually the star on this shoe here is a good example of that. Wherever you're putting the glue is where your crystals are going to go. And you can see how clean the lines are. I didn't use any kind of tape. I didn't use anything like that. I simply used the glue and I used the star as the background as like my template. So yes, you could totally do that if you wanted to. That was a great question, actually. Thank you. So I'm going to keep continuing doing my gluing here. Is this anyone's first time? Or have we been here before with us? Welcome back if you have, and thanks for joining us if you have not before.
We have some first timers.
Oh, awesome. Well, I really appreciate you all taking time out of your day to come join us. All right, so again, I have my glue here. I'm just going to sprinkle my micro crystals on like so. And again, where I have some kind of that kind of went off the beaten path here, I'm just going to take my thumb and I kind of just scrape those guys back into place. You can kind of wipe the extra off. But I freaking love these. Like, I am definitely going to be making a pair for myself. I kind of wish these were my size, but unfortunately I have giant feet. But yeah, I think these are super cool. It's so like super trendy right now. Like all these like crazy sneakers that are so pricey, you know, the golden gooses and, you know, these blinged out Nikes and Adidas, they're really high price. So if you're like me and are on a budget, this is a good way to make that look for less. All right, so I'm gonna just dump my little paper or my paper plate of crystal, and I'm gonna dump that right back into my little container. so that I can reuse those. Now, I will say you want to give these at least minimum 48 hours of drying time. And the reason I say that is because these are kind of loose crystals just kind of put in place with the glue, you really want that glue to have time to cure and to dry and expand and get all those little nooks and crannies of where those crystals are. Because that's how these are going to stay on there, is the glue. Okay, so the glue has to have time to dry and to cure. So if it hasn't cured, that's when you'll see a lot of them pop off. So really give this at least, 2 days to just really kind of cure before you put them on. That would be my best advice to you. Normally with flatbacks or anything, you can wait just a few hours and it's usually fine, but especially on a shoe or something like this that you're going to be handling a lot of, you really want that glue to have time to really dry and to harden and thicken.
One of our viewers wanted to know, could I layer a larger crystal on top, or is the surface too uneven?
That is actually a really good question. I think that you probably could layer another crystal on top of these.
I was thinking like a monogram and bigger crystal flatbacks.
Oh, okay. I like that idea. That's very cool. I'm gonna say yes. I would try just 1 or 2 first to see if it works. I have not actually tried this myself. I don't see why it would not work though. This is a really great glue, so I really do think it would work, but I would test it. Maybe just like 1 or 2 beforehand before you really go all out and like do the whole thing. But I don't see why that would not work. So I think that's a cute idea. And if you make it, I really hope you do the hashtag make it with Michaels and tag us in it, because I would love to see it. That sounds really cute. All right, so kind of the same exact technique as we did for the toe. I'm going to show you how to put them on the swoosh here. Again, super easy. I'm just taking my glue pen and I'm using the stitching on the swoosh mark as my template. So I'm going to just start here at this point up top, and I'm just going to the stitching. I'm not coming all the way out to the edge of the swoosh. I'm just staying inside where the stitch lines are. Does that make sense? All right, so let's do a little bit more here. Okay, and again, same as before, just take your little micro crystal pot and you're just going to sprinkle it right on top of your glue. Right, I do kind of love that sound. And then you can go back again with your thumb and just kind of get those off the outside edge. There you go. So see, super easy. So I'm just going to continue on. Where is everybody from? I love hearing where everybody is from. I'm from right here in Tampa. Well, Jacksonville actually, but pretty much raised in Tampa. So
far I see Texas, West Virginia.
Nice.
Minnesota.
Ooh.
Illinois.
Well, welcome. I hope all you guys are staying warm. Minnesota, and Illinois, I bet they're cold right now.
We have Lakeland, Clearwater, and British Columbia.
Ooh, very cool. Well, again, thank you all so much for joining us today. I am so happy that you're here, and very thankful that you're here with us today. So again, I'm just gonna sprinkle it right on top of my glue. There we go. So yeah, you can go back if you want, kind of squish those in. Just so you can get kind of a clean line.
Oh, everyone's saying kind of a warm winter this year.
Oh, well,
51 and 40s, even in Minnesota.
wow. I mean, that's good for you guys, right? Well, hopefully, I mean, if you want it to get cooler, I hope it does get cooler. But if you don't want it to get cooler, then hey, that's some good weather. So as you can see, super easy. Now we're just, like I said, we're gonna let this dry. We're gonna let this cure. And then after it's dried and cured for the 2 days, or you can kind of go back and you can kind of just wipe with your hand, and you can get off any of the excess that hasn't quite gotten the glue onto it. And then that way, once you put them on, you won't have as many that are going to fly off. But man, I'm so excited to make a pair for myself. So
one of our viewers wanted to know, does the glue work on fabrics for the microcrystals? Probably not washable, but thinking like a fabric pattern in a frame with crystal accents.
oh yeah, I definitely think so. This glue, like I said, this glue is really great for any kind of surface. I have never tried the microcrystal on like a loose piece of fabric. I've only, done it on fabric that's on a hard surface, but I don't see why it would not work. As long as it has a good glue base on it, it should be fine. Now, does anybody have any questions on those before I move on to the other style of tennis shoe? Do you want me to go over anything else again? Or would you like for me to add more crystal somewhere in a different color? Please let me know. I'm happy to do it. Ooh, so sparkly.
That color is so great with that color.
It really is. Like, I love it. All right. Well, so now I'll just kind of show you a little bit how I used the star pattern on the shoe to kind of make my little element here. So I have another pair here that we got at Target. I think they were actually maybe even on clearance, so it was even better of a deal. So I'm just gonna put those away. Now I will tell you on one, which you don't have to do this. On this one, I did not underpaint. You really can't tell a difference though. On this one, I did underpaint. And by underpainting, all I mean is I put a color underneath first before I added the glue and before I added the crystal. So you don't have to do this. It's just something I prefer. Again, it's not necessary. You can do whatever you'd like. These are your projects, so please don't feel like you have to follow this to the T. But all I did is I grabbed a pack of these here. These are a metallic paint pen set. And I used this blue color because I was using the blue / hematite color, which is item 725881. And it's this color here. Again, it's my favorite. So for this, I just took my metallic paint pen here. And as you can see, this has a little star outline on it. So this is what I was talking about. This star is what I used as my template per se. So I'm going to just take my paint pen here, and I'm going to kind of just go along the lines of where that star is. And like I said, these are so reminiscent of the Golden Goose sneakers that everybody is like wearing, but they cost like, $300 and upwards. So again, we're just kind of getting the look for less. And I think they came out so super cute. I would wear these all the time. These are actually my size, so these might be coming home with me. All right, so here you can see I just outlined the star with my paint pen, and I'm gonna go back in and I'm just gonna color it in. Super, super easy, right?
Can you go over the craft or the paint pen brand again?
Sure thing. So this was the pack that it came in, and it's the Craft Smart brand, and it's called the Metallic Paint Pen Set. And it comes with blue, silver, purple, gold, like a burgundy maroon color, and then a pink color. So really a great pack. I'm using just the blue, but like I said, you could do something like this and use any of these colors because there are so many color options in the micro crystal. So really, I mean, you could do a whole different look if you wanted to. All right, so I'm just gonna completely paint in my little star here. All right. So see, so easy. Took me like 2 seconds. Okay, and we're gonna just do the exact same process as we did on the Nike shoes. So I'm going to take my paper plate. Let me just clear off some of my silver crystals so I don't get them mixed together. And I'm just gonna put that right on top. Take my handy dandy glue pen here. And then I'm just gonna follow that outline again. So I don't usually put glue on the whole star. I like to just, again, work in small little sections. So I'm gonna do just one point of the star for now. And again, wherever you're putting the glue is where the crystals are going to go. So if you don't want them in certain spots or you want to make a pattern or a design, you can totally do that with this. Okay, so now that I have glue on the first part of my star, I'm gonna take my crystal and I'm just gonna do the same exact thing. So I'm gonna just sprinkle it right on top of that glue. All right, and then again, if you wanna just clean it up a bit, I just take my thumb, kind of press it into each other, make that point on the star a little bit pointier. And just continue on. So just same process, glue pen, follow the outline that was already on the shoe. And you could use stencil, like if you wanted to get a stencil and do something, if you wanted to freehand something, you totally could. I mean, the possibilities are kind of endless, which is what I like. And again, like I said, I love to upcycle things. So getting a pair of shoes or a little bag at a thrift store and really like updating it by adding these micro crystals, I mean, really makes a fantastic upcycle, I have to tell you. Okay, so again, just kind of sprinkle those micro crystals on. And I like to go back and just kind of straighten my lines a little bit. All right, and you just keep doing that until you finish your whole star. So I'm going to keep going. But does anybody, I would love to answer anybody's questions if you have any questions.
You're getting a lot of love.
Yay! Well, I hope that you all like these projects that I'm showing you, and I hope that it's inspired you to really get creative using these micro crystals, because really There are so many options you can do. I mean, you could add these to a picture frame. You could add these to, you know, it's just, they're endless. Like there's so many things you could do with these. I didn't have time to make them yet, but I think I'm going to make them for my Christmas dinner that my family's coming to. I think I'm going to do some napkin rings actually out of this. So I'm going to just take toilet paper rings or paper towel holders and like cut them up. And I'm just going to like douse them in microcrystals. And I think they would look like $1,000,000, just saying. Right? Ooh. So.
Nellie wanted to know, how would they look on a license plate?
Oh, they would probably look stunning on a license plate. Now that, since it is something that's going to be like prone to like the weather, that I would say you probably want to put some kind of protective coating over that, because it is going to be in the elements. But please, if you make that, can you please tag us in it? Because I have to see that. I need that for my Jeep, quite frankly.
That's a great idea.
It is a great idea. Love that. But yeah, I really like the idea of putting it on the champagne bottle or anybody bottle, really. Like if you don't drink champagne, I get it. You can use the sparkling apple cider, which looks so fantastic. I mean, just makes a really great hostess gift, bachelorette party, Christmas gift, you name it. Like nobody has that. So it's like when people see it, it's like, it's a wow moment. All right. So
I have a couple new questions.
absolutely.
Robin wanted to know, do you spray the shoes to protect it?
I do not. So again, the first thing that I do before doing anything, and I apologize, I didn't go over that part again when I started these, but you want to take just regular isopropyl alcohol on just a cotton cloth, and you want to wipe anything that has the leather down. You don't want to wipe, like this toe here is kind of like a suede material, so I wouldn't be wiping those down. But you want to wipe down the surface that you're putting the crystal on first, just to get away any kind of impurities or any kind of little pieces of dirt that might go on that might not make the glue adhere to the crystal. So that would be my first step. You can, once this is all dried and cured, you can put a kind of protectant over it, but it will kind of dull the crystal a little bit. So it's just up to you. It's not that it's going to make it look bad. It's just, you know, they might just be a little less sparkly, but that's okay. It's still going to give the effect and it's still going to look beautiful.
And then going back to the license plate question, if you were to protect it, what kind of, what would be a good protective cover to use?
Well, and I apologize because I'm not going to have probably a good answer for you. I have never personally done a project like that, but now that you say that, I'm kind of curious to know what would be a good thing for that. But usually when I do projects like that, I use just a Mod Podge over it. But again, since you are using it in the elements, I would think maybe like some kind of epoxy resin or something that could be poured on top of it. But again, you may just have to do a little bit of research. And I do apologize that I don't have the answer for that, but it's a really good question. And I think I'm actually going to experiment myself with that. So if we do make that project, I will definitely make sure to let you know how and what I used. But same goes for you too. If you make it, you let us know what you did. So yeah, that would be kind of my best answer. Just because I personally have never done it before. But like I said, if you do it, please let us know. Because I really do think that would look so cool. All right, so now I'm going to do the center part of my star here. And I'm just adding my glue. And I want to reiterate again, you want to let this dry for a good 48 hours. You want this glue to be able to cure properly before wearing these, because if the glue does not cure, it will not get into all the little nooks and crannies of where all these crystals are, and it won't harden. So that's what you need this glue to do. You need this glue to expand and harden, and that's what's going to make this the glue have the staying power to hold the crystals in. All right, so as you can see, I have my star finished, and look how cute. I just love it. And literally, this was so easy. Like, seriously, how much time did this take us? What? Yeah, 10 minutes. 10 minutes, guys. So in like 20 minutes, you could have the cutest pair of shoes that you can't wear for 2 days. Just FYI. All right, so now since I did the back on these, I'm gonna do my little backs on here, because I just, you know, like I said, I'm extra and I have to have all the details. The details matter. So I'm just taking my glue and I am putting it on my little stripe here. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. I'm trying to hold it kind of closer to the camera for you guys. This is really just like super unique and just a really fun way to add some sparkle and some fun to your wardrobe. I'm all about the dopamine dressing, so pretty much my whole closet looks like, you know, a glitter factory exploded, but I'm okay with that. So this is definitely something for me that I love, and I may have to do to every single pair of shoes that I own. You're welcome, husband. All right, so just dump your crystals back in with your handy dandy paper plate. And now the top part is a little funky, I will say, because you have to hold your shoe kind of like this. So you're just going to do the same technique. You're just kind of going to sprinkle those on.
You know if this would work on metal like a disc or a necklace?
Oh yeah, totally. I totally think this would work on a disc or a necklace. So I think that would be really, really cute. And it would look super high end. So, okay. And there you go. See, all done. So yeah, I mean, just like adding it to like a little pendant or something, I would still really let that glue cure. That's going to be the key for any of these projects that you use the micro crystal for, because it is a loose crystal. You have to give it time to dry. You have to give it the proper amount of, you know, care and love and drying time for it to really, really stick and hold up. So just kind of remember that when whatever you're making, that it really does need to kind of, you really need to spend the time and let it dry. So so that is that. And like I said, for these, I just found some really cool shoelaces on Amazon. I think these were like $4 for like 4 pairs. So they have some really fun colors. I would highly suggest switching out your shoelaces. They just make it chef's kiss.
Someone said they love the Christmas ornament application that you did.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Let me re-show that. Oh yes. I love this. So like I said before, it really looks like something that was like from Anthropology or like Pottery Barn. And for those of you who joined a little later, all this is just this wood ornament from Michaels. And I painted it with black acrylic paint. Then I took some Rub and Buff gold and I just kind of painted that on. And then, yeah, just did my glue, same technique that I just showed you here, poured my crystals on top and just kind of let that sit and cure. But yeah, switched out my little ribbon. You could even add a really cute little like branch of like greenery or a little poinsettia, and it would just really, you know, put it over the top. But yeah, this is actually my favorite. I kind of want to make a bunch of these now for my tree. I have way too many trees, so don't worry, honey, I'm not getting another tree. Maybe, but yeah, I think this would be super cute. So glad you guys like it. Does anybody have any other questions? Can I help answer anything, or would you like to go over any of the other projects that we showed in the beginning? I'm happy to do that while we have a little bit of time left. I think we have almost 10 minutes left, so let me know.
Did you use the same glue on the glass?
On the champagne glass?
On the champagne glass, yeah.
Yeah, same glue, same glue. So really super easy. Actually, I'll kind of show you while we're kind of waiting, but all I did here is, and I'm going to use a different color since I have these open, but all I did on this is well, first you have to wash it, obviously, right? Wash it, let it dry. And then I just kind of took my glue and I just kind of made my own little lines like so. And I'm just going to do an outline here. But then I kind of took my finger and I just kind of like smudged it like so. And then I took my crystals and I sprinkled them on. So same technique. And as you can see, and then these, I just kind of gave them a little tap. You can kind of wipe off the extras that haven't really stuck down. But yeah, so that's all I do. And then again, you want to set that aside, let it dry. But I just think it just gives such a cool little like look. Like, I mean, you could use these for like your wedding toast or like, you know, stuff like that, like stuff that you're not going to, you know, see all the time. And like, even if you didn't want to do like what I did here, you could do like a straight line. Like you could do, you know, tape it off and then just glue from like here down, make it really look like very chic and modern. You could do that. So really now, yes, now these definitely you want to hand wash very gently. Because and the only reason I say that is because, you know, the soap and stuff has different chemicals in it that will kind of affect the glue. So yes, I would definitely say kind of hand wash, warm soapy water, and then kind of set aside to dry. So, and I'm gonna dump these back in my little container so I can sprinkle them on again. But yeah, this is pretty much the basic way I use these to make the projects that I showed you here today. And I hope that I've given you some ideas for some fun things to make. If you have any suggestions on things that you have thought of that you want to make with the microcrystal, please let us know, because like I said, I love to make things. I love to upcycle things. So I'm always looking for fun projects to make. So please, you know, hit us up, let us know. Also, if you do end up making any projects today from this class, please make sure to use the hashtag make it with Michaels, hashtag create with cousin, hashtag cousin DIY. We would love to see what you make. I always love to see what people make. It's kind of one of my favorite things after I teach the class. So please make sure to tag us in it, make it with Michaels, and yeah, give us your feedback. I would love to know if you like this class. We will be doing some other classes in the new year. So if you have any thoughts on those classes, feel free to give us some feedback. We would love to have it. And then really quick though, before we go, does anybody have any other questions? Can I help you answer anything that you may have missed, or that you have, you know, you want to see again? Let me know.
Truly appreciate this, was one of the comments.
Oh, good. Well, I'm so glad you liked it. Thank you so much. I appreciated you being on this with me. So
Are all the items at Michael's?
So The shoes, obviously, no. But these champagne flutes, these came from Michael's. The Christmas ornaments that I showed you came from Michael's. So yes. And all the crystal, the micro crystal, the paint pens, and the glue pen all came from Michael's. So.
Somebody said, I love everything and get ready to get blinging. Thank you for the inspiration.
Yay! Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much again for joining us today. I know you have a million other things you could be doing right now, especially because it's this time of year, but thank you so much. And we hope to see you back in the new year. And again, leave us some comments and let us see your projects and keep calm and sparkle on. Bye.